And that makes this really difficult if you don't have a lot of research backing up what is being said inside of the courtroom. Let's bring back in National Trial Attorney Michael Jaafar before we get to our break. Michael, I was mentioning before the break that a lot of people have had contact with either a person or they themselves have dealt with issues when they were asleep or things that they did that they didn't mean to do or intend to do. Do you think that the prosecution has to make sure that they address that, especially in their closing argument, once they're trying to weigh, could someone do this in their sleep?
Yeah, this is everything. This is not even a case of battle of the experts. It's a case of hanging on the experts. I mean, the experts are. We don't have a camera view of the jury, but I'm sure if we could see the jury, they would all be sitting at the edge of their seat when he's testifying, because everybody in that courtroom, including the jury are jurors, but they're also students. You're learning because, like you said, everybody either themselves have experienced an issue when sleeping, or they know somebody or live with somebody who've experienced an issue with sleeping. I can attest to that. Anybody can attest to that. Anybody who tells you, I've never encountered anybody with any sleep issue, well, then you live by yourself and you live on an island. When the part that brought it home for me was a part of his testimony when he kind of resisted the question of seeking, said, I don't like that word seeking. You're not seeking, because that's really what this case comes to. Because the prosecution is going to say, well, he sought her. What a coincidence that he would have a parasomnia and a knife would just end up in his sister's throat. That's what this case is about. He didn't take a knife and stab a wall. He didn't take a doll and rip it apart. He took a knife and stabbed it, not in her ankle, but in her throat, the jugular, the part that he knew would kill her. There was intent. He saw her. He's trying to get off. That's what the prosecution is going to say, because the state obviously believes he intended to kill her, which is why they brought these charges. So he brought it home for me, this expert, with the whole part of about the seeking, and he resisted that. Now, this comes down to the closing statements, closing arguments, but this is really what it comes down to. I like what you said. Anybody can relate to it. Yes, I do agree with you. Anybody can relate to it. This is a very riveting case. I wasn't even aware that there were cases like this before until that expert said there was one person who burned down someone's house. I mean, crazy. It's very sad, very tragic, but let's see what happens. But this expert, for me, at least he brought it home.
Yeah, and well, the state will have a chance to put on their own expert in their rebuttal case, and that could be telling too, because at this point, I don't think they can, in a straight face, just say, this is mumbo jumbo.
Disprove it,
to the jury. They're going to need a little bit more. They're going to need an expert to say, this wouldn't have happened because of X, Y, and Z, likely. But at the end of the day, to Michael's point, very difficult case to be on if you're that juror in that Houston courtroom. Let's get a break. We'll get you back in the courtroom for more right after this. Stay with us.